Well, hello, welcome again to the Be the Leader podcast. This is actually a special edition because what I wanted to do today is bring to you, the listener, one of the speakers that is going to be at the Emerging Leader Inner Circle live event, December the 12th here in Pittsburgh. And some people have told me I'm crazy to have a leadership event in December in Pittsburgh. But my guest today, one of the speakers, is Teresa Quinlan. She's coming from Canada, so it's no big deal.
Bring the snow with me.
You're going to bring the snow with you, absolutely, absolutely. So welcome, Teresa. So happy to have you here today.
Thank you. I'm trying to contain my excitement because when we have a conversation, I usually start to get a little too high on the happy scale, like the ecstatic point.
Yeah.
We're going to try to contain it a bit so I can be articulate.
All right. I love it. And for some of you that don't know, actually, Teresa and I got a chance to meet live and in person. I think it was just last week. I think it was last week. And oh my gosh, it was so amazing for the two of us to get together for a couple of hours and just really talk about emotional intelligence and family. And of course, we connected on all kinds of things. So it was really great. But I'm really excited, Teresa, to have you speak at the live event because as you know, as we talked, the people that will be coming to this event, it's really a culmination of the leadership journey that the emerging leaders who have been part of the inner circle throughout the year are coming together live and in person. It's also an opportunity for others and other people, other companies, other teams to come and explore, is this a right opportunity for their emerging leaders to grow into the next year and really have what I'm calling 2020 vision into 2020. And I think it's a really important factor to be able to help leaders not just coast into the holidays, but really accelerate and gain momentum into the new year and really get some momentum. So talk to us a little bit about the talk that you're going to give and what you're going to share with us as it relates to emotional intelligence and leadership.
Well, the value of emotional intelligence to a leader is the springboard to their success, in my humble opinion.
Of course, yes, I agree.
So many leaders and watching them sort of crash and burn or struggle with execution on even some of the simplest tasks like accountability or setting expectations, building relationships, achievement of strategic goals, managing their time. Sometimes they have a really difficult time applying what they've learned in those types of courses because they lack the underlying emotional intelligence skills to get them done.
That's fascinating.
Yes. I was going to say, so creating that well-rounded leader is awakening them to the fact that it's not that they don't have the knowledge, it's that they're missing an ingredient to the recipe being successful.
Yeah, no, I love that. And, you know, one of there was something that you said there that really kind of keyed me off because I know that whenever I talk with CEOs and senior business leaders, they talk about the difference between just setting a strategy and the actual execution of that strategy. There's such a gap, but if we can close that gap and use our emotional intelligence to be able and increase our emotional intelligence to be able to close that gap, it's got to have huge dividends and pay huge dividends for businesses.
Absolutely. You know, so I would love when we have this live event, I really want to be able to dig in for the audience on this concept of what does leadership really mean to you?
Yeah.
And centered leadership is really important. So asking ourselves the question, why did I take the job as a leader in the first place? So was my intention pointing north? Was my intention perhaps pointing somewhere else? And that might not matter moving forward, but acknowledgement of why I took it is really important. And then diving into what is important in a leadership role is that I can lead other people. Maybe it's more so that other people will follow me. And emotional intelligence requires the skills around building great relationships so that people will be inspired by you, motivated by you, want to follow you, and know how to be a really good follower. And so to
Yeah.
do that, individuals will, along the journey with me, explore sort of a third look perspective at how am I deciding to lead a team? How have I decided to lead a team? How would I lead a team?
Mm-hmm.
And really look at that from a critical eye and
Mm-hmm.
explore the nuances of how emotional intelligence can help them to be more successful on that scale of a greater personal sense of well-being and happiness,
Yeah.
which generally means most people are going to want to flock towards me.
Right.
A stronger ability to manage my emotional state so that I handle stress better instead of ducking my head, so that I will step into difficult conversations instead of approaching maybe a little bit more avoidant, which is non-approaching whatsoever. Improving my social functioning so that I can really develop a dynamic team of people without me needing to be at the front of that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then watching my performance, but everyone else's performance skyrocket because of that work that I've invested in my EQ.
Yes. Wow. You know, that actually reminds me of what you were sharing before we hit record about the wolf pack and leadership and emotional intelligence. So talk a little bit about that, how that leader or that lead wolf actually leads.
Yeah, the alpha is really assigned by the pack. Like whoever the pack responds to in that way is their decided leader.
Mm-hmm.
And in wolf pack mentality, that alpha stands in different positions based on being able to have higher ground to see the whole pack, the
Mm-hmm.
pack as a whole.
Yeah.
And they decide, as the alpha, they decide or assign roles within their pack. So sometimes they might be, in fact, behind the pack and leading from the back of the pack. However, the assigned roles within the pack are weak at the front, so they set the pace. Then the next strongest three who are partnered to protect or guide the weak, and then the rest of the pack. And then generally at the back, another few of the strong ones, just in case there is an attack from the side.
Yeah.
So,
Right. Right.
but sometimes that alpha is at the back because higher ground is at the back. Sometimes they're east or west, sometimes they're in the front. And understanding this from a leadership perspective is knowing where's the best position for me to be in to guide my people to where they need to go so they are successful as a collective. As
Awesome.
opposed to I'm always in the front, follow me.
Right, right. Well, I don't want you to give away all of the goods because we want people to come and hear you talk. I'm so excited to have you come, and I'm excited for the leaders who will be there. And so I want to invite the listeners, the listeners, to be able to come to Pittsburgh in December. Yes, it's probably going to be cold, but who cares? It's going to be a great way to really get the momentum that you need. And remember, John Maxwell talks about momentum. He calls it the law of the big mo. And he says that it's the leader's best friend. So come and get the leader's best friend to be able to move yourself into the new year. Come hear Teresa talk about the ability to have your emotional intelligence increased and what you need to do to be able to be that leader, to be the alpha of the pack, so to speak. And so I'd love to just invite you to that, to hear Teresa, to hear some other speakers as well that you'll be hearing from here on the podcast shortly. So I'm going to drop a link that will be below where I'm talking right now that will give you the link to be able to register for the December 12th Emerging Leader Inner Circle live event that's coming here to Pittsburgh. And if you have any questions, I'll also put a link down there that will share my email address. It's just david@davidmcglennon.com. And we hope that we will see you there. We'd love to meet you in person. So no matter where you are in the world, come to Pittsburgh in December, and we will make sure that you have 2020 vision for 2020. Thanks so much for joining me here on Be the Leader podcast. Thanks, Teresa, for joining me for this session. And we look forward to seeing you all soon. Take care.